everybody, welcome to 50/50 Booking. And it's fucking hot. Certainly is here anyway. It's too fucking hot. And it's fucking hot. And that apparently Darren's setting up his stream going through his Twitch.
I'm sorry.
Because I can hear myself right
It's
now.
relay. Problem was, the TV volume was on, and it really shouldn't have been.
Well, don't worry, these things happen.
So hopefully we should be
After
okay now.
Yeah, after all, it's not like I don't know. We went out and paid £4 billion to a bunch of women and got them signed NDAs or anything.
Yeah, we should be good now.
Mm-hmm.
I do apologize. I am.
It's all right.
I am not completely with it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm good. So, but for anyone who got a sudden shock to the hearing, that I do apologize for, because that sucks. So.
Yeah. And it's totally my bad. I've been doing this for 4 weeks now. I should kind of have the gist of it. But
sometimes stuff happens though, so you know.
Yeah, sometimes friends happen.
Yeah.
And
do these same friends get to go out with women and get them signed NDAs and pay them off for £4 billion?
I don't know how they can do it on a Sunday. They've all got work tomorrow.
Yeah, some people are like that. So, but yes, there's more Vince McMahon news, people, in case you're wondering.
I mean, we didn't see him this week.
Yeah, what I'm referring to is why you didn't. More stuff coming out. No, nothing like that.
Bollocks.
What he did, if he did it, isn't technically illegal. It's morally ambiguous. This is a bit schmucky, but it's not actually illegal. Unless
I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not
unless it was by force.
And I'm definitely not going to change my mind based on what the miss said. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, that's Vince McMahon basically, and as far as that goes, Vince McMahon sucks.
Oh dear.
There was quite a few things going on.
Sorry, just had a social media update on the Logan Paul scenario that's going on.
Yeah, well.
So, we're not really allowed to talk about what's gone on with Vince McMahon.
The thing with that Vince McMahon stuff, there's been a lot of reports and stuff. It's all alleged. We don't have any proof. Nobody's been gone to court or been convicted of anything. So it's all alleged at present. So if we are going to talk about it, if you do want to talk about it, we can do, but you're going to have to use the word alleged a lot.
Sounds about right.
So, or believed to be, stuff like that. Because we don't actually know. We've heard stuff, of course we have, but
yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean what we've heard is true.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, we might. But the gist of it essentially being is, as far as the television product goes, I wouldn't expect to see Vince McMahon for a while. So, still running creative though.
Okay.
So, oh dear. There you go. I will point out, in all fairness, in the situation, whether people like this or not, unless he's convicted of something, you can't sack him or remove him from the job unless he chooses to go. Okay? There's such a thing as innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
And regardless of my own personal feelings about Vince McMahon, because I don't particularly like Vince McMahon, I do think he's entitled to that right, as we all are.
Well, yeah.
So,
Everybody is at the start.
if you get once you've been on a trial, if you're found guilty of something, then obviously that's different. But I'm talking about people who have never. There's been no trial, nothing. You can't go around saying they're guilty of stuff when there's no actual verdict or trials that have taken place.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, people have their own opinions, and that's up to them. But me personally, innocent until proven guilty.
Always.
So there'll be a lot of people who disagree with me because a lot of people seem to think, "Oh, I know, right?" Because it's what the media tells me. Please have your own opinions.
Yeah,
Find out
don't
your own
base your
facts.
opinion around media.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I have issues with the Vince McMahon thing is it's the Wall Street Journal, which is a trash newspaper. However, does not mean the story is wrong. To be very clear here. But as a general, in general, the Wall Street Journal was trash. But like with any news source, every source you can have circumstances where something will come through them which is correct and that is right.
Well, I mean, you saying
The problem is there's so much shit we don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm going to use that as a segue because we're talking about trash and stuff. Raw.
Yeah, we are going to now go off of that particular subject because, to be honest, there's not a lot you can say without legal consequences. So I'd rather not.
Mm-hmm.
But before we skip to Raw, we will just highlight a couple of things first. Money in the Bank winners. Basically, the two major things to come out of Money in the Bank was the men and women's winner. And the men's one was
a surprise entrant.
Yeah, the men's one was fucking underwhelming.
Yeah.
And the women's one, don't have a problem with who won it, but they have done this same shit for the last 3 years. Yeah. And the worst part of it is it's not even the fault of the person who won it. This goes back to our favourite thing.
Booking.
Yeah.
I can't be asked to write a storyline for this Money in the Bank match. It's only there for equality. Let's just make them cash in on exactly the same night and make it so redundant as possible. This has made Rey Mysterio's win from 2007 when Kane won the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think it might have been 2001 actually. He won the Money in the Bank match and he cashed in the same night.
That was later. 2001 was when the invasion was taking place, like the WCW thing. So you're talking.
Might have been 2007 then.
I would think it's probably late the 20s and may even be the early 2010s. Honestly, from memory.
Possibly 2011 then. But anyway, this makes
I will check. But go on.
Historic cash in by Kane and Kane cashing in on the same night as Rey Mysterio. This makes this whole like, oh yeah, historic cash in, the first guy to ever cash in Money in the Bank on the same night that they won it. It makes it redundant. It's stupid.
2010.
Yeah.
So, Rey Mysterio and Kane. So, yeah, it's. Also, if you're going to have a surprise entrant, have somebody who's actually good.
Not somebody who just lost their title.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have somebody who will enhance the match. I mean, if you're going to do this, if you're going to do this shit, you need to do something similar to what they did with Edge in the Elimination Chambers.
Not only just lost their title though, this was a squash match of sorts too.
Right, which is why the Edge thing worked in the Elimination Chamber thing, because Edge lost his title by a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
And got himself into the second chamber match. If you're going to do this shit with Theory, because that's who we're talking about here, you have to make it worthwhile and rewarding for us to want to see that.
And it's Theory, so we don't anyway. Good luck.
Right. If you'd, for instance, had this match, right, have this happen and have Lashley lose the title match, and then have him be in Money in the Bank, I'd be fine with that. Because to me, that makes sense. One, Lashley's got charisma. You can get behind Lashley. It's not hard to do.
No.
But Theory's so fucking boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not fun. But I mean, his is just boring as God knows it's going nowhere. And of course, you've got the women's one. Third year in a row of the same fucking shit. And all three of the women it's happened to fucking suffer in the long run. So,
Yep.
I'm ecstatic for Liv Morgan. I'm glad she managed the fans. They've done something with her at last, but fucking hell.
I mean, from the looks of things, I hate to say it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be lasting long anyway.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Not with SummerSlam around the corner and who she's scheduled to face for her rematch. This is a pat on the shoulder. Well done, you've become a champion, and then in the next couple of weeks, yeah, it's great, but you're going to have one of the shortest reigns in WWE tenure.
Wouldn't be one of the shorts because some of the women title reigns have been very short.
Oh yeah, we're talking like minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, it's still not great. Because if you're trying to build up somebody and make them good, you also wouldn't have done this.
Mm.
And if you are going to do this, there's a way to do it where you make her still look good.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah. No.
If you want to carry on, you can.
Yeah. Some very strange stuff, people. But yeah. So what will happen there? So obviously that's the main bank stuff for it, and this stuff goes on for both Raw and SmackDown. So we will end up circling back to it. So, because for example, when we get to Raw, which is where we're going to start, we get a Lashley and Theory segment. Yay! Just what we all wanted. They're going to have another match at SummerSlam. For what reason? Very annihilated him. There's absolutely no purpose to him having a rematch. It's dumb. It's stupid.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Not for me either.
neighbour.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
they moved out a couple of months back.
So probably just haven't updated their shit, probably.
Yeah, I wasn't going to take it in because it's a flat pack, and I didn't know them. I didn't really know them. I knew them a month, and then they were gone.
Yeah, that would be best considering what, especially what it is as well.
Somebody forgot to change their Amazon address.
Yeah, a lot of people do that shit. They'll move, and that one of the very last things they'll change will be things like eBay, Amazon, stuff like that. And then they'll also then think, "Fuck."
I mean, I did that straight away, but with my work, it's kind of like a given. I kind of needed to.
Yeah, but, yeah, it's like WWE in their booking. They change shit, and then fuck, they forgot they done it. But
Kind of like the opening to Raw with Lashley showing off his new US title that he got given basically because he wanted the WWE Championship, and they turned around and said, "No, we don't want you in that storyline."
well, apparently champion TV either, because you know.
So, the interesting thing about this segment was that when Lashley came out to the ring with the US title, he welcomed everyone to the show, as like most people do when they open up the show. But he challenged anybody and everyone, no matter what promotion. It's like, okay, way to make it a little bit interesting, but like this is just, it's all well and good saying, "Oh yeah, I'll beat anyone on any promotion," when WWE doesn't play well with others.
No, they do not. They're very bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they suck.
But Theory came out and interrupted Lashley with his briefcase. This was a taster, I guess, for the six-man tag later on in the show, apparently. And it ended with Lashley standing tall and Theory showing us what was exactly in his briefcase. Nothing! He literally swung the briefcase at Lashley, it opened wide and nothing fell out. It was completely empty.
Yeah, spoiler alert for people who don't realise this. Those two cases, those Money in the Bank cases, are normally empty.
Like they're going to keep a contract like that in a briefcase 24/7 when they're on the road.
Also, kayfabe, brother, kayfabe.
Yeah. You might as well call it like I can't think what it's called. What's it called when people dress up as the superheroes and stuff?
Cosplay.
Cosplay. There you go. Might as well call it cosplay at this point, the way that Theory dresses.
Yeah. Definitely.
So after this, we had Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus Priest and Balor of the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
The entire beginning of this match was in picture-in-picture break.
Well, let's be honest, this match was crap.
I didn't pay attention because it was in picture-in-picture.
Kind of my point.
Then we had 5 minutes of the match, followed by another picture-in-picture break. So 2 in the same fucking match.
And Aaron loves picture in picture.
And then we got a Guerrero-styled finish by the Mysterios.
Well, what do you expect? I mean, Dominic is Eddie's son, of course.
Yeah. I was
This doesn't hurt
waiting
the
for QT Marshall to come out and start making dead dad jokes.
no, QT's got his own stuff he's doing at the moment on New Japan Strong. Also, QT Marshall has an actual purpose.
Putting over -1.
Putting people over. Nothing wrong with that, though. He does it well.
I mean, if you look at one of Hook's first matches, he does do it good.
Look, a lot of the people he's fought, he does put over people well. It's something he's very good at.
He's kind of like the Dolph Ziggler of AEW.
Yeah, it's also a case of he's also a teacher. He has a wrestling school, and I think that really shows with wrestlers like that because Finley's the same. The rare times he wrestles. Wrestlers like that who actually teach, you can tell they teach because of the way they are in the ring.
Yeah.
And the good ones always get people gush about how good they are as the wrestlers.
Speaking of how good people are, next up we had a Miz segment. And it was based around Logan Paul.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand why they're doing the Logan Paul thing for WWE. I get it, it makes sense for them, but I'm not a fan.
It was okay, I just don't see how and why they're turning him face against the Miz of all people.
Because
this would work better the other way.
Because they think because he's popular that he should be a face. That's probably their thinking, honestly. It's the way WWE works.
Popular for good reasons, though.
Yeah, but that's the way WWE work. The thing is, if somebody's like popular and well known, it's usually because people like this person. That is how they look at it.
They really need to check their social media.
Well, they need to have a fucking brain for it, and don't trust social media for fuck's sake.
This may be just my opinion, but Miz would work better face in this picture. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to SummerSlam between these two and people are cheering the Miz and booing Logan Paul.
I don't think you're wrong. I think that's probably the best way to have done this, honestly, if you're going to do it. Because Logan Paul should not be a face. Because he clearly
is the equivalent to Roman Reigns, like 6-8 years ago, maybe, when they were shoving him down our throat.
Yeah, where Roman was in everything, regardless. Yeah.
They're going to get the same reaction as well.
If you keep trying to force shit on people, yeah. I mean, look at the get back at these big companies having with the stuff they're putting out at the moment. They're trying to pass off shit, and people have got wise to it. They're like, no,
thanks. Come again. Speaking of come again, next we had the Street Profits and Alpha Academy segment, where we found out Dawkins and Otis would be having a hot dog eating contest before a match. Just in case people didn't hear or aren't aware, hot dog eating competition before a match. this was not going to end well as soon as we found out about a hot dog eating contest. It was like, someone's going to throw up.
Yeah, my immediate thought is Otis is going to eat far too much and then vomit. It's not hard to work this out.
Well, what we didn't account for was Akira fucking Tozawa.
To be fair, most people wouldn't.
But that happens later on. So we had the Mysterios got jumped by the Judgment Day. Not a problem with that because it's in line with the storyline.
Despite the fact it's a fucking lame storyline, but yeah.
Yeah. And before these 3 segments, AJ Styles did actually come out to the ring. So by the end of these 3 segments, he'd been standing in the ring for 10 minutes listening to his own music.
And that's WWE. I mean, don't get me wrong, AJ's music's good, so fair enough, but still.
It hasn't hit iTunes or Spotify, as far as I'm aware. It's not in the top 100 of anything.
Yeah, that not being funny, that doesn't mean what it used to.
That's true. So next we have Miz versus AJ Styles again.
Yeah, I was so shocked.
Another thing that didn't shock anybody, another picture-in-picture break through this one too.
Yeah.
And then we came out the picture-in-picture break and AJ won and then was jumped by Ciampa and dropped by Miz. Not gonna lie, this makes no sense with Ciampa and Miz, but this pairing looks like good. It's kind of it. I hate to compare, but like it's kind of like when Butcher first showed up on the scene for Matt Hardy.
Yeah, here's the thing with those two: it could work if you actually explain it.
But there's no explanation.
Right.
Is he a mercenary? We don't know. Is he a friend? We don't know. He's just attacking people and apparently has a silent agreement with The Miz.
Yeah, so you kind of need to tell sometimes with stuff. It's not always show.
And following that, we had a Money in the Bank recap of the women's title Money in the Bank match and title win for Liv Morgan.
Yep.
What I didn't get about this was Liv Morgan is now the new SmackDown Women's Champion. And this was on Raw.
Yeah.
To make matters worse, they showed this on NXT as well.
Yeah.
But they didn't show it on NXT UK, so nice. But to be honest, NXT UK is only an hour long, so probably wouldn't have had enough time.
Also, NXT UK is also taped in advance. It's very rarely live.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So then Talia came out. Oh, no, sorry. Liv Morgan came out, followed by Natalya, who wanted a thank you and said she said she wanted a thank you from Liv Morgan for letting her for weakening her, for weakening Ronda Rousey and allowing her to get the win so easily. Which is, I guess, fair enough. But then after that, Carmella followed and demanded the spotlight for some reason. And then after Liv put Mella in her place, Mella and Natalya jumped Liv Morgan, but Liv was rescued by the Raw Women's champion Belair. And this became a tag match, Liv and Belair versus Natalya and Mella. And guess what? This match started in picture ad break too.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of this match was good. Liv Morgan won. The 4th of July barbecue continued afterwards. But yeah, I don't see this whole women's division segment was kind of. I didn't get anything from it really.
Because there wasn't anything from it.
Uh,
The fact is, if you start something in picture like this, you fucking know what you get.
yeah. Speaking about knowing what you're getting, as I said, the 4th of July barbecue continued, and Rollins and Zeke had an altercation where Zeke was trying to put tomato ketchup on his hot dog and ended up squirting it all over Seth Rollins wearing a white suit. This led to a match between the two of them, which I wasn't angry about, but it could have been a better build up. Like these two guys could have a decent rivalry, but instead we've got like this 4th of July bullshit.
To be fair to Americans, the 4th of July is a big deal to them.
Well, yeah, but like spilling a bit of ketchup on a white suit, I can kind of understand like how angry it'd be if like designer and stuff like that, but it's just like these could have a better rivalry. They could have like an actual like mutual respect in like a match worthy sense, whereas they're getting put in this kind of scenario. This is the kind of scenario that I thought, oh yeah, somebody small like Tozawa is going to be like putting ketchup on his hot dog, and then all of a sudden squish the bottle too hard and it goes over a moss. That would have been fine, but these are two headliners. Like this would have been better worked in an actual, match sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It makes no sense to have the two of them here. You need somebody like a Tozawa or one of the 24/7 crew, people like that. Or when they're heading, Drake Maverick. Those kind of people. That's why you have them.
Yeah, and I mean, if they did it to a main star, it would even make sense because they have that heat from the main star being so angry that somebody of a lower status as them could damage their appearance in public.
Yeah.
Because it's like when Kofi Kingston emptied that barrel of paint over Randy Orton's car. He was angry because of the paint job and everything, but Kofi wasn't a main star yet. He was just trying to they were just trying to get heat on Kofi to try and push him up to that next level. They could have done that here with a lower case superstar.
Yeah, but no.
So, Seth versus Ezekiel. Before it actually happened, there was a teaser about a new superstar coming to Raw. Bit of like flickering lights and stuff like that, and I'm not sure who it was. I haven't heard anything about a new debuting superstar. I don't know whether or not you have. And there's nobody from NXT that I know of that's going up to main roster right now.
There's a few things, but nothing solid, honestly.
No, I mean I've heard like Fiend whispers, but it didn't look like the Fiend in the video. It looked too like. This is no offense to like Wyatt. This is like literally. It looked too thin. It looked like Austin Theory figure.
I've been told it's not Wyatt.
I didn't think it was, but it has that Fiend kind of vibe to it.
Yeah. But
more of a Kane kind of vibe. than a phenom.
I've been told by somebody who I'm pretty confident on that it's not Wyatt. So
I wouldn't believe it's Wyatt anyway, because even though it's got the light bulb thing that like Wyatt used to do, it's a bit too fast, if that makes sense. Normally, when Wyatt's doing his work, it's nail on the head shit. It's direct, it's to the point. You know who it is without even having to look properly.
yeah. Look, we're frozen.
Hmm?
The Twitch. It's frozen. This is on the bottom. This is on my pad anyway. Oh, it's starting to move again, but it's really chunky. Yeah. For those of you wondering, by the way, the other thing you may not be aware of, obviously, if you're not in England right now, it's currently 27 Celsius here, which for England is bloody hot, and it's nearly 9 o'clock at night here. So that's one of the reasons why we probably both look a bit as well. I mean, Aaron's also had a long day, so there is that. But yeah, so if you're wondering why we're a bit, that would be why. It's fucking hot.
Yeah.
So, but
So
this thing with Ezekiel and Rollins led to a match.
yeah, the match was good, which made like what I said about like this being an actual rivalry would have been so much better.
Yeah.
These two can put on a good match.
Yeah.
But it was also something different, quite well paced, and also the story kind of worked, even though it was like bare minimum. So Rollins won the match, but went to jump Zeke and got RKO'd by Riddle afterwards. We then found out that the winner of the hot dog contest was Akira Tozawa with 48 hot dogs. Otis finished second with 23, and Dawkins 822. Then we had a Lashley and Profits versus Alpha Academy and Theory match straight after the hot dog contest. And I mean, this match was pretty good up until Otis puked on Gable after the match.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not surprising considering, is it?
Well, he got speared by Bobby Lashley after eating 23 hot dogs. I think anyone would puke.
I would argue there's a good chance a lot of people would puke before the 23 hot dogs if you've done that.
Yeah, that too. What followed this was Becky Lynch in a segment, which was okay. However, R-Truth came out dressed as Uncle Sam after this.
Again, it's Independence Day.
Yeah, and requested some USA chants and introduced himself as Uncle Sam. This made no sense to me, but I guess it's Independence Day, so why not?
Well,
And
the thing is,
unfortunately for Truth, Kaiser and Walter came out afterwards.
yeah, I mean, the thing I would say is obviously for those of us who are non-US citizens, the 4th of July doesn't mean to us what it does to you guys. So
the Declaration of Independence.
We're never going to properly understand it because we're not involved in it. In fact, from an English point of view, it's kind of a bad day for us because basically it just celebrates the fact you're a bunch of traitors. So Americans should bear that one in mind when they celebrate such things, because
Yeah, so Kaiser and well, oh, for fuck's sake, Bartel and Walter.
I was going to say, yeah.
Came out, and this apparently was a match between Walter and R-Truth, and R-Truth was laid out completely. To be honest, I'm not sure why this happened, but I guess okay. Get more heat on Walter, I suppose.
I would assume so.
Ruining Independence Day, even though
you got big foreign Hill battering the crap out of guy who's representing America.
Yeah,
It's classic WWE booking.
Yeah. So following this, we had Alexa Bliss versus Oscar, which was the Alexa segment with Oscar saying that she was going to win the title next was okay. And again, we had another ominous mini vid about the new superstar that we have no clue about, really, at this moment in time, anyway.
Uh-huh.
And followed that was the main event, which wasn't a segment for a change. We had Oscar versus Becky Lynch for the umpteenth time, but this time it was no holds barred.
I always have one question about these kind of matches. Okay. This is one I'm going to put to you as well, right? Okay. You call this a straight fight. Okay. Falls count anywhere. Okay, sure. Right. They call this a no holds barred match. So here's my question. What holds are exactly not normally holds are normally barred? That's the point. It's a stupid name for this match because it's like you're making people ask questions about something. It's like, really? Regular wrestling fans won't give a crap because we're so used to this by now. But if you're trying to attract a regular person to watch this, the first question I'll ask them is, well, what can't they normally do then?
Yeah.
It's a very stupid way to make people ask questions. You don't need to make them ask. Or if you're going to make them ask those questions, have an answer for it. But that being said, Becky against Asuka again, not really a surprise. It's always going to be a fairly decent match. And yeah. Big surprise. It was fairly decent. There you go.
Sorry, I was just getting a work update.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah, and Becky won with a manhandle slam through the table.
Yeah.
And that was the end of Raw.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll be back. Unfortunately, we'll be back on Monday.
I gave it a 1.5 out of 10.
Wow, that's a very generous score.
Yeah.
So, NXT, 2 boring.
Sorry, you forgot the title of the show. It was Great American Bash.
Fuck off, is my response to that.
What made me laugh the most was within the first 5 minutes of the show, they went, "Oh my god, we're trending worldwide. NXT Gab." NXT Gab.
Clearly didn't think about that before they created these hashtags. So yeah, it is.
And it was up on TV in the bottom left corner. I was like, "Oh my god, that's fucking brilliant."
I mean, for those of you with longer memories, the Great American Bash was an NWA paper, and it's where War Games started. That's where its
Yeah.
origin. And those were great up until I'd say 1990 was the last good one. Then that's when it was transitioned to WCW, and at that point, 91's was dreadful. 92's was an NWA tag team tournament. Pretty much the only decent thing on that was a Vader versus Sting match, which was decent. And after that, it pretty much faded away.
And
The only other-
speaking about fading away, the first
Only other
match
major-
of pay-per-view.
I'd say only other major thing that happened on the Great American Bash was 96's. It's when Kevin Nash jackknife powerbomb Eric Bischoff through the stage at the beginning of the NWO storyline.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. There is, however, a great street fight match. However, a lot of people will not want to watch it considering one of the participants is Chris Benoit. It's a match between him and Kevin Sullivan. If you can stand watching Benoit matches, watch it. It's great. But if you're one of those people who can't, that's okay too.
But on the point of you saying that fading away,
Yes.
the first match of the night was the women's NXT tag team titles.
This was trash.
Yep. And
I don't like saying it. I don't. But it was.
8 minutes into the show, and that's including their entrances, by the way, we had another picture-in-picture break. And 5 minutes later, the match was over.
Yeah. Here's one for you, right? How about don't have those breaks in your first match?
Don't have the picture-in-picture breaks in title matches, full stop.
Right, that's the point I was going to get to. You can put it in the second match or the third match if you need to have them.
Put it in the stupid match between Wesley and Trick Williams. Nobody cared.
Or the Strat and Chew one, you could have done it there too.
Yeah. So yeah, Perez and Jade won.
Yeah.
So Toxic Attraction lost the women's tag titles, which may be a call to main roster, but we'll have to wait and see whether or not Mandy retains next week, because later on in the show it's announced that Mandy Rose will face Cora Jade for the NXT Women's Championship next Tuesday. Next, we had a segment between the Legado and D'Angelo family, and we found out that Escobar's been put on the shelf. Apparently.
Toy shelf.
Sure. With the rest of his masks.
Yeah.
And this was an okay segment, but I don't know how accurate, whether or not Escobar's just on like annual leave or something, or whether or not he's actually injured. We'll have to wait and see.
As far as I'm aware, he's not injured, so.
I'm not sure why they put him in a hospitalized angle then. Green card trouble?
Possibly.
That's usually their go-to, isn't it? When somebody has green card trouble.
Yeah, you find a quick way to get them off the telly, generally.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You're not wrong.
So,
It's just
I hate these words that I wrote, but next we had a pretty deadly segment, which was okay, but it kind of had no place on the pay-per-view.
that must
They were
have been
talking
hard for
about
you to say.
ethics and fashion,
I
and
bet
then
that was hard.
kind of underhandedly kind of took the piss out of the new NXT UK champions, which is in character, but at the same time, this could have waited until next week or something. It's nothing important right now.
Also, you could have had your advert here.
Yeah. So, following this was another advert-worthy match. It was Wesley versus Trick Williams. And for some reason, Trick Williams brought a boxing kit ringside for in his corner. And inside said boxing kit was rubbing alcohol that he forced into Wesley's eyes and then beat him.
Somebody watched AEW.
The stupid thing about this was he threw the bottle of rubbing alcohol at the commentary desk, and they actually pretended to smell it just to clarify that it was rubbing alcohol. This was really poorly wrote.
Yeah.
So if you need to throw a bottle at a commentary desk just to clarify that it's rubbing alcohol, then you're not doing your wrestling work properly.
No. The commentators are supposed to help get you over. It's not their job to put you over.
Yeah. And that's kind of what they did, even though it was a shit job.
Yeah.
So, we then had Tiffany Stratton backstage getting ready and having her final preparations of makeup done when Wendy Chu threw a handful of flour in her face when she asked for more powder and then tried to get her to the ring as fast as possible, which then added into another picture break. And the shittiest part about this was during the picture break, Wendy Chu sat on Mei Ying's old throne and went, ha 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 ha. It was the funniest part of the show, and it was in picture.
Yeah. I mean, we're all very well aware that I happen to like Wendy Chu. This whole segment, up until this part of the throne, funny as fuck.
Yeah. It's just shit that it was in picture.
Yeah.
And the match followed afterwards, but this wasn't scheduled in until later in the show. They actually did touch upon this. This wasn't supposed to happen until the end of the show because of the whole outbreak between the two. This happened here.
So don't mind that, because I tell you, it was meant to happen anyway. It's just they've made it happen sooner. I ain't got a problem with that. That I don't mind, because they're actually giving an explanation.
Yeah.
Need to do more of those kind of things. Thank you.
The match actually started in the picture break as well, and by the time we came back from it, Stratton won.
Well, yeah, again, fucking stupid.
Yep. Following this, we had an Apollo segment, which was basically hype for future matches in the NXT division. And out of all the people that came out to interrupt him, it was Vincini, aka Fabian Eichner, the left behind member of Imperium. Which I didn't have a problem with. These two could probably go at it pretty well in the ring, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the match. But after that, it was kind of like dead in the water, in my opinion. Like hype-wise, anyway.
It didn't do what you needed it to. That's the problem.
No. He basically just picked up the gauntlet and said, "Yeah, sure, I'll have you in a match."
To be honest, the rest of the show didn't get much better, honestly.
No. We had Mallow and Waller next, and they had a confrontation of sorts, even though they were in two different places. It was kind of like the end of AEW Rampage. You literally just wanted Mark Henry to appear and say, "There's enough talk. It's time for the main event." But this wasn't even the fucking main event.
Also, when they do that in AEW, it's very clear they're in separate places and it's a build up to a match.
Yeah.
That you're about to get.
I mean, this was probably one of the better segments of this show. But at the same time, it really didn't elevate it in any sense. It built tension and that was it. But there was no tension to be had anyway because Mello was tricked into this match in the first place.
Yeah, it didn't actually serve a purpose, basically. If you're trying to create something that's not actually there.
The two best bits about this was Jordan Devlin's introduction package, which was next, which was good. He's coming next week to NXT UK.
JD.
McCulkin?
McDonald. So for those of you unaware, we will probably just still call him Jordan Devlin, but that's who it is.
Yeah. And then following that, we had Waller versus Hayes for the North American Championship match. It was a great match, but did nothing as Mello retained.
Yeah.
And following that, we had Chase U announcing that they're going global. And by going global, they're going on a field trip to merry old London. So they're probably stopped by NXT UK on the way round.
No joy.
Not mad about it, just kind of interested to see what would happen.
At least it's something different.
Yeah, and the NXT, the Andre Chase University student Bodie Hayward apparently is having trouble sleeping because his roommate doesn't sleep, and that's the young lady who's joined NXT UK and NXT and Chase University a couple of weeks back. I can't even remember her name because they haven't really spoken about her a lot. But I did call that these two are going to be the next power couple of NXT or whatever, because Index has been gone for too long and NXT needed a love story. I'm kidding.
Yeah, anyway.
So, after this, we had...
There's nothing wrong with a love story, but you have to do it properly. You can't do this stupid shit.
Yeah, it's like Macho Man and fuck, I forgot her name.
I think you mean Elizabeth, mate.
Elizabeth, yeah. They did it the best.
Yeah, you have to do that kind of thing. You've got to build it. You've got to add to it, do stuff. You can't just be this one, they're going to do that.
Anybody who says otherwise need to look up on your history. And if people say Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, no.
No, that's a story about somebody who decided, I want to be this person, so I'm going to drug them and take them to a chapel and get them to marry me.
Yeah.
And then later on, make out, oh, I didn't really. It was a con. You've lost focus, by the way. Yeah, it's the fun of modern technology. It could also just be the heat. That's better. So yeah, it's honestly just not hate shit to see. But yeah, if you're gonna have a love story, do some fucking work to make it work.
Yeah. Speaking about making it work, we had Diamond Mine versus Diamond Mine next.
Yeah.
For those of you who may be confused, we had Roderick Strong and Damon Kemp versus the Creeds for the NXT tag titles.
Yeah.
Another picture-in-picture break in the first 5 minutes of the match, but the rest of the match was good. But the end was subpar, and the Creeds thankfully retained, even though things still don't look good in the Diamond Mine camp.
Well, bear in mind that at the end of this, for those who didn't catch it, you've got Kemp, who's like all buddy with the Creeds, and then you've got Roderick Strong, who's basically giving them what I like to call stink eye.
Yep.
And that is undisputed.
So,
I borrowed Vince McMahon's joke book.
after this, we had a kid's mathematical gimmick. And a brand new name for him as well, which is Axiom. AXIOM. Sounds like a toothpaste.
Axiom used to be an empire in Africa.
Oh well, it's just
back in the
filter.
Back in early history. They were one of the first major
Aztec-y.
Yeah, it was spelt differently though as well, but it's basically it's pronounced the same.
So yeah, he's got a brand new name and a new mathematical gimmick, kind of like a professor of some sort, I suppose.
Name thing I get because I do like to change names so they can own names. So
I just hope that he doesn't go to Chase University and the girls start going, "Oh, Professor, I'd do anything for an A."
please have them do that. That'll be the funniest shit ever.
Have Saray come back from NXT UK dressed up as a schoolgirl. Can I have an A, please?
No. That's Vince McMahon putting right there. No. What you do on the privacy of the internet in your own home is your own business, young man, but do not bring that smut to my television. In all honesty, I would say in all honesty, if they did that, it was a proper storyline, that's fine. Honestly, I don't care. If it's a storyline reason and you can show me why, okay, I don't have an issue if something's done purely for storyline. If you can show me this is why it's done, fine. Don't do it for gratuitous reasons just because you can.
No.
Okay? Because not being funny, right? You could literally get people to dress up in all kinds of shit if you really wanted them to. What purpose does it serve?
Mm-hmm.
I personally wouldn't get it. It's dumb, but if you could give me a storyline reason why, you could have a turn up at Chase University like that and say that to him, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But you have to you have to show me why it's okay. Don't let me come to my own conclusions about what you're trying to do. Because that would be bad. in that kind of context. Because, not being funny, if you get a rather attractive or pretty young woman to do that, and you don't give proper context to it, it's as dodgy as fuck.
Yeah, true.
Bear in mind, this is if you're making her do it. If she chooses to do it on her own, that's her choice. But it must be her choice.
Her own.
Yeah, I actually mean as in her own, not as in what allegedly Vince McMahon deems as their own.
Yeah, if it pays well enough.
Apparently 12 million in an NDA, allegedly.
Borderline institution of sorts.
Allegedly.
So, after
Yes.
this,
Anyway, yeah, we got to after the tag
Axiom
match
thing.
and a bit some Axiom, yeah.
I mean, it could be worse name-wise. It could be Gunter, and also the math side of things could be a little bit quirky and a little bit interesting.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse for many reasons. I mean, I don't really hear the word Axiom and think, oh my god, what the fuck's that done?
Yeah.
The minute I first heard the water one, I was like, oh, fucking hell.
I mean, the one name that you won't have to worry about changing is Von Wagner. And he was in the segment next, and it was actually pretty good. It kind of got heated and almost boiled over with Solo Sikoa telling him to basically stop whining like a little bitch. And if he
I'm a
wants to
Sikoa.
throw hands, he can meet Solo in the ring next week.
Yeah, I'm a solo on that one.
Yeah. So after that, I mean, I'd like to see that match.
Yeah.
But after that, we had the main event, which was Grimes versus Breaker for the NXT Championship. A really good match. Breaker won, surprisingly, but then got jumped by JD McDonough, aka Jordan Devlin.
I saw that coming, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it was either going to be A-Kid or Devlin, and the way that Devlin's character's been through history, you kind of knew it was going to be him.
Well, also it's Finn Balor Jr., which is the other thing as well. And look what Finn did with Judgment Day. But also, if you look at A-Kid, look what his gimmick is now. It doesn't really lend itself to that.
No, it screams nerd. It doesn't really scream anything else.
Right. And that was basically the end of the show.
Yeah. Sorry, I was distracted. I had a fly land on my nose.
Tell it to buzz off.
I mean, I've got my book on my lap, and I was tempted to just go like that, but I didn't want to smack myself once.
We both know you'd miss it and hit yourself in the nose.
This thing's broken enough. It don't need to be broken again.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I gave it 5.
I would say, in its defense, it was much better than Raw was.
Yeah, the matches were good, but storylines just shit.
And the biggest hindrance to the whole show?
Booking.
Picture in picture.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm. So, because picture in picture you can fix quite easily. Booking takes time.
Yeah.
With picture in picture and that sort of stuff, that's pretty much down to when they decide to put what where.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of what where, we had NXT UK's first match was Tiger Turan versus Kenny Williams. And
Yes, it
Kenny
was.
Williams had promised to take Turan's mask off.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Possibly, so he's possibly going to see an unmasking of Tiger Turan. And they've jumped on the scapegoat now of saying that, oh, it's Amir Jordan. Because I said that 3 weeks ago when this guy started appearing.
You did, I remember you saying so.
But apparently it's not. I've been told it's not.
Yes, but I remember you saying so. Is my point.
So I'm kind of disheartened, but that leaves kind of like another angle for crowd work. You could have Amir Jordan in the crowd during one of the matches, and then him come out in the mask. That'd be brilliant. That would probably knock Kenny Williams off the edge. To be fair,
I would say it could also be like the old Brian Pillman trick with the yellow dog.
yeah.
For those of you who are familiar with it, such things.
So I kind of just wanted this to be over because this storyline's been going on for weeks.
By the way, just so you're aware, officially it is listed as Amir Jordan being Tiger Turan.
Yeah.
And for those of you wondering what the source on that one is Cage Match, and they're very good at such things.
Yeah, I've been told otherwise, but I've said it's Amir Jordan since day one. So
The thing is, they may end up having somebody else be visually shown as him, but at the moment, I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be him.
yep.
So that's what I mean. Because when they did the yellow dog thing with Pillman, the matches were Pillman, but whenever it was a Pillman appearances, it was a double because they had him and Pillman appear together to throw people off.
Yeah. So this match was actually all right, and it ended with a strong cradle from Tehran to get the win over Williams.
Yeah.
Williams attacked Tehran afterwards, of course.
Trying to
Pure
take
heel
the mask.
move.
Yeah.
Tried to get the mask and took one mask off, but there was another one underneath. So Tehran Mysterio'd his way out of it.
Damn right, as every luchador should. If you're a masked wrestler, if you don't have two masks on, you're stupid. I think Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. need to learn that lesson.
I wouldn't say that to the Lucha Brothers face, though.
I would say it to them. Because they clearly don't understand you're supposed to wear two masks, not one.
So after that, we had Carter and De Familia in the gym in a segment. Basically, Carter told De Familia to fuck off because he didn't want a family. They've been going after him since Ashton Smith was put on the shelf. For the past 2 weeks, he's told them to get lost.
Yeah.
So this looks like it's going to be T.O. Man versus Carter in a match next week, which should be interesting.
Not the worst thing.
Then we had Josh Morrell versus the newly solo Primate, as our suspicions were correct when Primate and T-Bone went their separate ways from Eddie Dennis. They disbanded the tag team known as Symbiosis 2.
Yeah.
So this was Primate's first solos match in 3 years, possibly?
I think it's about that, yeah.
Because first he was the Hunt for about 2 years, and then he was in Symbiosis for about a year, both with Boar and then T-Bone, obviously. And then 2 weeks ago, that all went to shit.
But yeah, it's about 3 years.
No, I mean, it was a good match, but a shock win for Morrell. And Primate was kind of left in the corner scratching his head.
What do you expect as a Primate?
Yeah. What happened next though was a championship segment. Dragunov was talking, and he then called out somebody for a title match in the form of Wolfgang,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting because you don't see champions calling out people very often. But I guess with Dragunov it kind of works.
Depends on who your champion is, to be honest, because only certain champions are credible to do it.
Yeah, precisely that.
Because, for example, you wouldn't have Mandy Rose, for example, go around to the XT Women's locker room going, "I challenge all of you to come fight me." However, if Bron Breakker do it, sure, I could believe that.
Yeah.
Or if you had Dragunov do it, I can believe that too.
And speaking of believing, how's your belief on Mustache Mountain being over now? Can you believe it yet?
It will never be over.
Next we had Tate Mayfairs versus Trent Seven, and a showing of pure spite and viciousness from Seven in this match.
Good.
And even after it was done, he continued to attack Tate until Sam Gradwell came to the rescue and said, "If you want to fight someone, fight me."
This is
I mean,
what
this
I
wasn't
want.
bad.
Yeah, but this is what I'd want from Trent Seven. If you're going to do this, you've got to have him go like this.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't bad. It just wasn't great.
No.
And,
I'm assuming it's just the first step in what's going to happen. So,
I mean, he attacked a member of the audience last week. So,
it's only the audience. They don't count.
so I mean, attacking a local talent isn't such a big deal. If he'd have done that last week and then attacked a member of the audience this week, it would have. I think they would have escalated it on a bit of a better level. Because it feels like they've gone like from huge to,
Yeah, I personally would have had him attack both of them on the same thing. Beat the local talent and then beat the crap out of the audience guy.
Yeah.
That's how I personally would have done it.
Yeah, I mean, he did beat the crap out of him. He low-blowed him in the middle of, he low-blowed him after he jumped the rail.
Yeah, but that's my point. I would have done the local talent first and then done the audience guy.
Yeah, so would I.
But there you go. For the exact reason you just said.
Yeah. Instead of going from whoa to go from to whoa.
From oh shit to oh, he's clearly hasn't going to get in trouble for this, and look, he's beating up other wrestlers.
I mean, the only thing I think that they can do to save this is probably like if he loses the match against Bradwell next week, have him beat the shit out of the referee.
Honestly, he could even still win the match and still do that.
Yeah, and then obviously Tyler Bate make his return, or possibly the week after. I don't know. And make it the same ref that did the count for the tag team titles, because that would just add extra fuel to the fire, and it would make
there you go. You're thinking story steps, right then?
Yeah,
definitely. Because you can have your matches and have all your good matches, but you do need your story too.
So following this, we had Saray and Satomura versus Brookside and Friend, because I can't remember her name because she's just Zaya's hand.
Eliza Alexander.
Sure, that one.
That is her name. You know me, I check these things.
I would, but like the way that she's being personified in this like kind of like stable, I don't know her as anything else. It's that she's Iron Friend.
Yeah,
There's
but
nothing
unlike
interesting
WWE,
about this.
yes, but unlike WWE, I am thorough and do my homework and check these things out. So that way, if people have questions to who these people are, I have an answer for you.
Mm.
But you're right, they're not presented in a way where you should care. But the problem is, no WWE booking the way I do, they could swing it around and have a really, really matter, and then it'd be like, well, who's this person then? Yeah, exactly. That is why I make a point of finding these things out in case these people become relevant. Because the way the WWE book, you could swing around in 10 seconds.
So yeah, basically we had two of Tokyo's finest versus two of Liverpool's brightest.
I'm not sure that's the right term, but yes. Two of Liverpool's
Rejects?
wrestlers?
Wrestlers. Sure. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Because there isn't really
Well-
another way to describe them.
Wrestler and Daddy's Girl.
Which one's which?
Ooh.
There'll be a few people out there who'll be going, I don't get it.
So basically, Saray and Satomura won, just pure dominance. This was like a throwaway match. And I'm not going to lie, I like this team, but I don't think Amelia Mackenzie did. Satomura's apprentice, because obviously she's getting jealous and jealous by the day from the looks of her.
Which I think is kind of the point of what's going on.
Yeah, there's going to be a breakdown here between her and her apprentice, obviously.
Yeah.
It's
This is what's
literally
going
waiting for the kettle to boil over at this point.
Yeah. Again, this is a case of, look, they're telling story. We like this. It's good. We're getting our matches. They're okay. Not always necessarily Disney. We're still getting our story progression.
Yep.
You need to do something similar with Trent and Tyler.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of other feuds that could do with it on like actual NXT, and the main roster could do a benefit with it too. As could your camera's focus. Yeah, it doesn't like you today, does it? It keeps going weird on you.
Seems like the closer I get, the more focused it is.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. As you move away, it starts to blur.
It really doesn't make... I mean, it makes sense, but it's still annoying.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, essentially, that's NXT UK, and this isn't anything I've missed.
Yep.
So, you
I
just need
gave
to give
it-
us a mark.
I gave it 6.
I think that's fair. Some nice matches and some storyline progression. It's cool.
I'd say to push it and say 7, but I don't know. I'm kind of anxious to see what they do with this Tiger Turan storyline and also the Trent Seven thing. If they're lazy with it, then it's going to be fucked. And this goes for both storylines, even though like the Tiger Turan one's been going on for quite a while.
Yeah.
They need to put some effort into this, and like with NXT UK, you don't really need to worry about this. But I've been like with NXT and Raw and SmackDown, the effort's just not there. So I'm used to worrying about these kind of storylines.
Yeah. Generally, and you're quite right, generally NXT UK are pretty good about this stuff. So we'll have to see. After all, Vince isn't around to do their creative and stuff.
Even though Vince doesn't watch the show anyway.
Yeah.
So next we had SmackDown,
Yeah.
the last show of the week.
Thank God.
It started with a recap of Theory winning Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
A Raw superstar opening up SmackDown.
Okay, when it comes to the Money in the Bank thing, I don't have an issue with it. Because when you hold that briefcase, you can challenge either belt.
And both belts are on the show currently anyway.
Exactly. So I don't have an issue with him being here.
I just have an issue with the fact that they had to recap it again, even though they'd already recapped it on Raw. I'm not being funny. I know there's people out there that watch one and not the other, but I don't see how you can do that in WWE.
I get it, but at the same time, you're also dealing with different networks. American television's weird.
Yeah.
Also, Monday was the 4th of July, so it's a national holiday for them, so a lot of Americans would not have been watching television.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why you might possibly do it. But as a whole, I would agree with you. But in certain situations, possibly like this one, I can understand at least why they might do it.
Yeah. We also then found out that we was getting Corey Graves as a stand-in for Pat McAfee after Corbin attacked Corey Graves at Money in the Bank after the show.
Wait, hang on. We're getting Corey Graves as a stand-in for Pat McAfee when Corey Graves got attacked by...
When McAfee got attacked by Baron Corbin during the show.
Yeah, because you said Corbin attacked Graves. I was like thinking, I don't remember that.
I'm sorry, they're both annoying commentators.
Fair.
Except one's married to a WWE superstar and the other one's married to somebody I don't know about really, so I can't comment.
Well, the other one's famous for playing for a different sport. Let's go with that.
That makes sense.
So basically, we had Graves instead of McAfee.
And they used it well on the show, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, if you are going to make a change like that, you have to make it work. Otherwise, it really does have an effect.
First up, we had the main event announced, which was McIntyre versus Sheamus, and winner gets the title match at Clash at the Castle. And this was announced first, and then announced halfway through the show, and a quarter of the way through the show, and a third of the way through the show, and basically announced all evening.
Do you know what's really bad though? Is when you originally said that, I thought I heard you say Clash of Clans, and I'm like thinking, what the fuck? It's a computer game. It's a dumbass name for a thing, basically.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, it's probably not even going to happen at a castle.
It kind of is.
Really?
Yes, this venue they have, it's kind of is one.
It'd be cool if they did it at Dover Castle.
I'm not sure there's the room there. That's the sort of start. I'll check. I'm going to check the location for it, but I'm pretty sure.
Or Leeds Castle, to do an outdoor venue.
I think this one in Wales is an outdoor venue.
Doesn't surprise me.
Because the thing is, I can't see how Oh no, they've gone boring. It's in the Principality Stadium,
Ugh.
which, for those of you who do not know, that is the former Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. Which but me immediately ask, why the hell would you call it a clash in a castle? The nearest fucking castle is like miles away. It's a dumbass name, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I surely if you're going to do it, they'd be like, why don't you just call it the Battle of Cardiff or something, or Revenge in Wales? You know, something that relates to where they are, as opposed to calling it something that is not related to where the fuck you are. When you said it before, the county of Kent in England, there's loads of castles there,
Yep.
and there's a few of them who could easily have the kind of space necessary to do such an event.
I mean, Leeds Castle, oh, I've been there a few times, and the amount of acres that they've got.
Yeah.
Easily.
Hever.
Scotney.
Yeah.
The Scotney tie in well as well because of Celtic connections.
Yeah. You just have to look at how much space is that surrounds the castle in question, but that's quite a few.
I mean, think of the atmosphere as well.
Yeah, I mean that's Kent. If you go out to like some parts of Cornwall have them as well. Certain places up north have them too. So there are places in Wales that have them. For fuck's sake, it's not like they don't have them.
Mm. But anyway, the show started up with Reigns blabbing on, talking about him making big money on the show. And then he said Heyman looked nervous and started to joke around with him and asked him why he looked nervous. He gave the mic to Heyman and Heyman said, "We have a problem, whose name is Brock Lesnar." And that he was scared that Roman was going to have to turn into the absolute savage that they'd never seen before in order to beat him and retain the title. I mean, does anybody actually have a problem with Roman turning savage?
No.
No. As long as he doesn't come out with the traditional Samoan face paint on just as a one-off, I'm good because I'm going to be laughing the whole way through the match.
Oh, please let him do it. Because that way I can create a meme and have Coco the Clown music playing in the background as it comes out instead of his actual music. Or I can play that music.
Oh my god, it's Doink! Oh, no, sorry. So, after this segment, we had Viking Raiders versus Mahal and Shanky. I don't know why these two are still together. They fall out every week. And the match lasted 3 minutes and Shanky and Jinder lost. Shanky cost Jinder the match again.
Cannon fodder. That's
And the Raiders continued to beat Shanky and Mahal until the New Day came out to the rescue, but even that didn't stop them, and the New Days got laid out too.
Hang on. I'll ask him. Vince, why are they still together? It's some good shit. That is some good shit.
He likes the dancing.
Yeah.
So, this was shit. Then we had Money in the Bank segment, which was good because we witnessed Pat McAfee get attacked by Baron Corbin. So we found out, like, properly, we got to witness why McAfee wasn't at work. We also got told that the match has been made official for SummerSlam between Corbin and McAfee, so that's happening now too. We know when we're getting our drinks at the ad break.
You mean it's the piss break?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll put that picture in picture.
not gonna lie, when McAfee first started at NXT, I fucking hated him. So like part of me still wants to see him get the shit beat out of him by someone, and I believe Baron Corbin could.
Well, Corbyn's not one of those people like McAfee who was well known for other sports before wrestling. So all that. Also, I do have a soft spot for McAfee because he beat the shit out of that prick Adam Cole, who I don't like. So that's always a good start.
Oh yeah. Then we had Gunther come out for an IC title open challenge, or so he was told, and then he said, "No thanks, I'm not stupid," and then said he would not be having his open challenge this evening. So after he said that, Shinsuke Nakamura came out, looked him in the eyes. Well, basically, before this happened, Gunther said, "Oh yeah, I want somebody to prove themselves worthy of an Intercontinental Championship match." And as soon as he said that, Shinsuke Nakamura came out and challenged Kaiser to a match, or as we know him, Bartel, and basically completely destroyed Bartel in a one-on-one.
As long as they're square it up, I would like to see Nakamura against Walter.
Yeah, but then after the match, because Bartel lost, he had to stand in the ring and get chopped by Walter 3 times.
Why would you lose?
This was like downright, like there was a thin line here between ouch and oh, kinky.
Again, why would you choose to lose?
Bartel kink? Bartel's got a kink?
Hey, you know what? This way, I'm not into kink shaming.
shorts
If
aren't
that's your thing, all power to you.
Lucky those shorts weren't any tighter. Wouldn't have been PG for long.
We could have seen some hardened European action, huh?
Yeah, totally. So while Nakamura was actually coming out with his entrance, Corbin was on commentary with Graves, and they were both. While Nakamura was making his entrance, they were both taking the piss out of McAfee by both jumping up on the announce desk and air guitar in the whole time as well. Forgot to mention that. I mean, this was okay, I guess, but it was just seemed a bit childish.
Again, it's Corey Graves, so of course it's fucking childish.
But yeah, the match between Kaiser and Shinsuke was actually pretty decent.
Oh, what a surprise!
Kaiser did well putting Shinsuke over.
Yeah, 2 good wrestlers had a good match. I'm so shocked.
Yeah. Then we had Women's Money in the Bank recap, as we've talked about already. Fuck you, WWE, for your stupid fucking booking.
3 years in a row. 3 years in a row.
Yeah, well, come back next year, we'll probably be saying the same thing, but 4 times in a row. So, Liv Morgan's cash-in was great, happy for her, but at the same time, yeah, shit. Lazy booking.
Not this fault, it's WWE being stupid.
Yeah, I mean, we had Liv Morgan come out for a championship celebration and ended up having an interview with Michael Cole. So basically, the question at this point was who was going to interrupt her. And she was eventually interrupted by Natalia, who was then interrupted by Ronda. And then it all broke down, and this ended with Ronda having a match between Natalia. Ronda having a match between herself and Natalia.
You mean the boat?
Yeah. And a short match later, Ronda tapped out Natalia with a ankle lock.
Of course you did. If she's going to have that rematch against Liv, she's got to build her up again to be strong. Although I've got to say, one of the funniest stupid segments that took place this week happens in a minute.
Yep. So next we had it was the main event, I believe. We had McIntyre versus Sheamus. Or so we thought.
No, you've missed stuff.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, shit. Sorry, I'm on the wrong page.
It's all right.
We had McIntyre's backstage segment, which was short and sweet.
Yeah.
Then we had Maximum Male Models Tennis Collection segment, which was just weird, and I'm not gonna lie, what the fuck?
This I liked for one reason. Because it was fucking stupid.
It's like, I hate to say it, they've Barbie-fied Retribution.
Yeah. That's why it's fucking funny.
Yeah. I'm glad you understood what I meant.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
And after this shit, we had Theory's interview.
Yeah.
That was kind of saved by Madcap Moss, thankfully. Basically, Theory was talking about how great he was, and then after he left, Madcap came into camera shot, and he went, "That's a really big briefcase.
Oh,
I bet I
please
could
let
fit it in his mouth."
Please let Moss get that suitcase off him. It'd be fucking great.
Yeah.
Because out of the two of them, I'd much rather you give it a Moss, because I think you could do something a lot better with Moss than you can with.
Yeah, well, it could go either way because they've got Riddle versus Theory on Raw on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And from the looks of it, they're going to have Madcap versus Theory next Friday. So it could go either way. It wouldn't be the first time that they've gifted the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Well, sometimes it has been traded by people losing matches and shit. It does happen occasionally.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's usually because somebody's injured, though.
Yeah. So after this, we had.
I was going to say, I imagine in Fury's case, though, they may want to keep him a bit out of the limelight, considering how close he was with Vince.
Yeah.
Just a fault.
Yeah.
Not saying there's anything about Fury, because I don't know. But it could be a concern for them, I don't know. But, sorry, you were saying.
Sorry, just getting another update.
Yep, no worries.
We next had a absolute headfuck of a match that wasn't a match. We had Aaliyah and Lacey Evans versus Baszler and Shotzi, which turned out to Aaliyah coming out, then Evans coming out, and then coming out again, and then coming out again, because she wasn't getting the reaction from the people that she thought she deserved. This obviously didn't sit well with the crowd. She picked up a microphone and said how disgusted she was with everybody, went to leave. Aaliyah stopped her, reminded her that they had a tag match, and Aaliyah got a woman's right for her troubles, and Lacey continued to walk out.
It's a fist turn, ladies and gentlemen. She did a fist turn.
Which really makes no sense. They've put so much effort into making her a face, and now they do this.
I'm wondering, this is just a thought, whether it's to do with what's happened with Shotzi.
Huh?
Do you not know about this?
No.
She got a lot of online backlash about Money in the Bank. Basically, she fucked up a load of spots. Like, well,
Right.
people have issues. Sometimes something doesn't always go well in the match, and they probably feel really shit about it. But people online are arseholes, and a lot of them gave her lots of shit about it. So she had a little rant and then deactivated all her social media and disappeared.
Who, Shotzi?
Uh-huh. She's still got her Instagram, but that's apparently about it.
Oh.
So maybe it's a case of having to pivot because Shotzi wasn't available to do it. Maybe. I don't know.
That's fair enough.
So that could be why this happened.
Could
I'm not
be.
saying it is. I'm just saying it could be a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes back to what I say all the time when it comes to Twitter. Fucking scumbags.
Yep.
No wonder Elon Musk pulled out buying the fucking piece of shit.
Oh, we finally pulled out then.
Oh yeah. They're going to try suing him because he pulled out of the deal, by the way. But I don't think Twitter will look to stand on.
Oh, jeez.
So there you go.
Hmm.
So let's see. So we have that. We have something to do with the Usos as well, from what I can see on my list.
Yeah, we had the Usos versus Los Lotharios. This was a put-over match, and a one and done later, and the Usos won. After the match, Kayla called out the Usos for cheating.
Oh, she got some balls, didn't she?
I mean, they didn't exactly cheat. The ref made a bad call, and this was obvious from Money in the Bank. Let's see Naomi come out at this point and slap Kayla around the face for her wording, because it was not cheating.
Yeah, we all know Naomi's not going to be around for a while, if at all.
No. So she also mentioned that the SummerSlam rematch between the Street Profits and the Usos is likely to have a special guest referee, and the Usos said, "Oh yeah, we've got someone in mind."
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they don't have an Uce in the NXT, but if they use Sami Zayn, it would be kind of comical.
I would think it'd be Sammy.
I've heard rumors that Solo will be making his way up very soon. Sooner than SummerSlam, I don't know.
I wouldn't be that surprised. I don't think he's got a lot really more. He doesn't have a lot he needs to do in NXT, honestly. But
I mean, he's not held
They
a
do-
title yet, but my
not everyone does.
he's probably going to come up and take the title off of Gunther.
Off of who?
Walter.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I haven't heard of the other person you mentioned.
That's my opinion. That's what I reckon is going to happen.
Wouldn't be the weirdest idea.
No, they faced each other before as well, and it was a very close match.
Things to bear in mind, of course, you don't necessarily always need to have held a title in NXT before you get sent to Raw or SmackDown.
If memory serves me rightly, Sikoa's first match on NXT was against Walter.
It was, yeah.
And he lost, but it was only just.
It was very competitive, but yes.
Yeah. After this, we had Sheamus versus McIntyre. Winner gets a title shot at Clash at the Castle.
No.
But Sheamus started coughing on his way down to the entrance ring with a microphone in hand and said, "Oh, I think I've got a gist of the COVIDs. I need to go get tested." And Michael Cole commentary goes, "You should really cover your mouth then."
To be fair, Michael Cole is not wrong if that's what it is. Two, if you have any sort of illness or flu-like shit, don't walk into an arena full of people and start coughing everywhere.
No,
Three,
don't say
you're
that
scaring
it's COVID.
Yeah, three, you're scaring the shit out of people, telling them about it's a fucking disease that apparently terrifies the majority of the people in the world because they don't fucking understand it properly. And four, why the fuck would you do it this way?
And I'm not gonna lie, if you watch this match back from beginning to end, you'll notice that like about a third of the arena left after Sheamus came out.
I don't fucking blame them.
No, they left, and they left, and they're lucky it was such a short match. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had a crowd in the background during this film. But being as Sheamus was ill, he ended up putting Butch in for a replacement. And yeah, it was Butch versus McIntyre, and we get this next match next week, I guess, for the Clash in the Castle place. That'll be my guess, but I don't know.
Well, not if he's got the COVIDs, because you know that's a dodgy thing. It can come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone recovers from it differently.
Yep.
Also, he's ginger, so he ain't got a soul.
Probably sold it for a pack of Oreos. Them cookies be good.
The dude be Irish. He would not have sold it for that. You know what he would have sold it for.
Lifetime supply of Guinness.
There you go. You be Irish. You be of Irish descent. You can make that joke.
Or a lifetime supply of Guinness, or a lifetime supply of Jim Beam. Or Jack Daniels.
I personally don't mind making that joke, but I think it's better if you do it.
Any stout in general is fine.
Mm-hmm. I still want to do something right now, but I know it's going to offend everybody.
Nice.
Yeah, the thing is, I actually think about what I do before I do it. And I don't just do things to offend people, I do them to be entertaining. And if I did what I was thinking about, that would have been just purely for the pure reason of just amusing myself. It wouldn't be for entertainment.
Yeah. So that was the end of SmackDown, and because of my husbandly duties, I'm going to have to say goodbye, which is perfect timing for me.
You also do need to give us a rating before you fuck off, show.
3. It was better than Raw, but not amazingly. I'd say that's a 2.5. It wasn't as good as NXT.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, we've pretty much covered everything here. As Aaron pointed out, Aaron has to go off and meet his future lady in long life and partnership and shit. So he's going to do what every man should do and go and meet his spouse.
Because it's 10 o'clock at night, very dark, and I'm not having her walk home from a train station on her own.
Yeah, plus Aaron needs someone to hold his hand. So. But in all seriousness, it's called being considerate of your partner, so why not? But anyway, we are actually done this. We will say goodbye to all you people, and we'll see you later. So, goodbye, people.
Sorry there's no after show this week, guys and gals.
yeah, just no time, honestly. And without Kaylee, it doesn't really work properly anyway.
Yeah, there's no Disney to ruin or anything fun.
Yeah, and trust me, I've got plenty of Disney to ruin. So
So did
not
Disney.
as much as Disney do, but yeah. But WWE are slowly catching up to the way Vince and all his people are going. So,
Yeah, that's true.
but with all that one, people, see you later. Bye.